It's hard to imagine life in Wake County without them, but 2026 marks 50 years of the Wake County Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Department. It's been a long trail to get where we are today, so come along with us as we look at where we've been and where we're going by breaking up our history into 4 sections: parks, open space, nature preserves, and greenways.
We got our start with school parks, working with the school system to build parks on school grounds.
We had all those resources out there. Every school campus, whether it was a high school, middle school, or elementary school, that had facilities. Many of them not up to the standard that they'd like to have them at.
It was a win-win for the community because the school parks were obviously used by the kids during the school days, and then after school hours, they became community parks.
That was a real step forward, I think, in bringing all of a sudden a whole plethora of facilities into a system that the public could use outside of school hours.
I think it was maybe 82 or 3, somewhere in that range. We did a master plan, and we broke the county up into 4 quadrants. And our vision then was to have a county park in each quadrant. One of the things that you'll see is that Lake Crabtree, Harris, and those, we leased the property. We didn't have the funds to go purchase the property.
Initially, it was an easy way to get into it, particularly when we could get leases like with the Airport Authority. It didn't cost us anything.
The Wake County Regional Parks, model does really well. We have some active recreation aspects when you kind of think about mountain biking and disc golf and, things of that. It's not organized play, but it is recreation. And then you do it in a setting where it's mostly wooded. So we're not coming in and we're not clear cutting, the footprint. We're allowing pockets of space where nature is there. And so you're showing that we can build things and we can have amenities within a natural setting.
You can't put in a lot of heavy-duty infrastructure and not expect people to feel like it's a subdivision. You want it to feel like there's a lot of trees have been saved, a lot of habitat's been preserved.
We have focused on natural resources and outdoor recreation. That's kind of been our niche, and we did that through the regional park system.
We first proposed developing an open space plan in 1985 with our first master plan.
The open space program was designed to protect land, to protect water quality, provide wildlife habitat, to protect cultural and historic areas.
That didn't go anywhere. They adopted the rest of the master plan, but they knocked that out. Started back into it again around 87, 88, 89, and I got permission to hire the first open space planner.
Throughout our history, we've always been involved in partnerships. And the Triangle Land Conservancy became a big partner. Pushing all of those kind of buttons, so to speak, we were able to develop an open space plan through a task force. That just kind of mushroomed and got a lot of support by the community.
It really came down to putting that open space plan together, the consolidated open space plan, and having everybody involved. It's hard for any elected official to say no to 15 entities.
The natural changeover to put open space with Parks and Recreation, because we were hiring the staff, the natural resource managers, and the people who had the know-how and expertise to manage natural resources.
There's so much farmland being lost. And so to take a piece of land and to preserve it as open space for wildlife habitat and natural systems management as well as public enjoyment, it's just really a valuable thing.
It was 20 years in the making for it to happen, but it did. It happened at the right time, and now I look at it and go, we did it.
How we got into the nature preserve business was actually a suggestion from a county commissioner.
There was talk several years ago about we're acquiring thousands of acres, which is a good thing. of open space property. Well, after acquiring, a lot of acreage and protecting a lot of land, the idea came that maybe we do offer public access to these areas, but on a very limited basis.
And so we really took that to heart, started thinking about it, looked at some of the larger assemblages of open space we had and said, hey, can we do a nature preserve here? Focused on what made it special and why we purchased it as open space.
Robertson's Mill Pond was one of our first ones.
The mill pond itself is habitat for black cypress, one of the more western stands of black cypress in Wake County and in North Carolina, so it's a really cool habitat.
So it has very few facilities. It's a parking lot, a nice boat launch area, a canoeing area, and a few trails. So that's a typical nature preserve. It'll be very minimally developed. It's more about the resource than it is about how many people can visit there.
I think it was 81 or 82, we had a master plan, and then after that, it was, we ought to have a greenway master plan. Basically what it was connecting the dots, all the municipalities. And at that particular time, the municipalities didn't necessarily have a greenway plan, greenways at all.
Wake County is a big county with a lot of municipalities. And so in these municipalities, they may have their own plans about how they want to plan for greenways, how they want to plan for parks, but particularly greenways. What other agency in Wake County could shepherd all those different plans, if you will, and bring them together? We
never really developed one until I guess it would be the American Tobacco Trail.
Yeah, and there was a lot of challenges with American Tobacco Trail, being a linear trail and just going through 3 jurisdictions with Chatham and Durham. With Wake County Parks, we have a dedicated staff. Durham and Chatham did not and does not. And so if there was any issues, any concerns, any hazards, it was always Wake County staff fielding the calls and trying to make the connections.
Everybody wanted to connect to the American Tobacco Trail. Cary wanted to bring their greenway system to the American Tobacco Trail. Apex wanted to bring their greenway system to the American Tobacco Trail. So these are things that happen. And now the American Tobacco Trail is a spine which different agencies wanted to connect their greenway system to.
That is the one future of Wake County Parks, Rec, and Open Space, is making these connections between the municipalities. The greenways are some of the highest use facilities that we see. Any survey you ever do in Parks and Rec, people ask for places to walk.
It's one of those things that complements parks, complements open space. That's your best investment.
As Wake County's communities continue to grow, Wake County Parks, Recreation, Open Space will always be here to offer a natural environment oasis to our residents and visitors. So lace up your boots, grab your bike or a paddle, and come see what we have to share across our 12 parks and preserves.